Awesome. So we can get started. So welcome everyone to this SI London Hub Education Challenge. This is just a quick information session that we're putting on to help everyone become accustomed with the challenge that we're about to start. This is the first event that we're doing in this challenge series. So it's so nice to see all of you here today. So I'm Ben. I'm going to be the host for today, but we also have Elrika, Yasmin, and Joss. That'll be facilitators and presenters for other parts of today. So we'll really get like that good discussion going, but we have a presentation, so we'll just walk through that today. If you do have any questions at any point, please do feel free to use the chat feature. We'll be recording this session as well, so it will be made available afterwards. If you don't want to put your camera on, that's completely fine. Please feel free to turn it off, but we will be recording the session today. So a quick structure is we'll first do this introduction to what is the SI London Hub, then Joss will do an overview of the education challenge. Yasmin will run us through the timeline of events, so kind of what to expect over the coming months. Then Yasmin and Elrika will be taking on this outcomes and ways to get involved section. So we're really trying to make this as participatory as possible and really welcome your involvement at every stage. So Yasmin and Elrika will go over those outcomes and ways to get involved. But the real objectives of today is to really inform everyone about the challenge, clear on why this challenge is needed now and why we as the SI London Hub are running this challenge. And then finally, just to make sure everyone is clear on those ways to get involved. But firstly, in terms of what the SI network is, we're a global community of systems innovators and thinkers. We have a hub network, so we are one hub of that network. The network in total has around 13K of members on the website. There's 15 hubs that make up the network, and roughly there are 1 million users of the content every year. So there's that community angle, but then there's also that strong learning presence as well. As you'll see on this nice infographic, we are the London Hub, and we're really growing at a rapid pace. So we've been around for about 2 years as of now, and approaching that 1,000 member mark, which we're really excited upon, actually. Really, the idea of these hubs are to provide that collaborative environment to understand, learn, and then create around systems innovation topics. We run a load of learning, connecting, and creating events to enable our members to really get to know each other, the other systems innovators in the community, to upskill themselves, but most importantly, to also create and have that probably more systemic change that they're hoping for. And that's kind of why we're here today. We're launching this education challenge really to start on that creating piece in a way. So I'll pass over to Joss to go over a bit more about the overview to the challenge.
Great. Thank you, Ben. Just to grab the screen there, 1 second. So great to see everyone here. And also for those people who aren't here, right, we're recording this, so a lot of people are going to be watching it afterwards. We'll have that on our YouTube channel. For everyone to view, I put in the chat there a link to that. So here we are. I would just want to say a few words about this area that we're kind of exploring. What does systems innovation mean for in the context of education and changing the education system? There's quite a bit of interest in this in our network, people working around this, and we have done research over the past few years into what does this look like? And I was part of producing this original paper about 2 years ago, educational systems innovation. So you'll find that on our website. You'll find the link there. There's a summary paper. I'm going to just show a few brief snippets of that. But there's also the more in-depth paper, and you'll find that on our website at that link. So just to say a few words about that. What are we talking about here when we say systems innovation in the context of education? I think one of the interesting aspects about education is that almost all of us have intimate experience of this system, right? We most of us have been at least 12, maybe even 18 years in an education system, and working through that all of its good points and all of its bad points. So it's something we do understand a bit about and have experienced firsthand. And also there's clearly growing awareness to the limitations and failings of the existing system. Excuse me if I have a bit of background noise. It's becoming, more apparent that our education systems are failing us in many ways. They certainly work in many ways. We've made massive progress over the past 100 or 200 years when it comes to basic education of most people in developed economies. But now we know there are big changes happening in the world, and a lot of the underlying premises and principles and the paradigm actually that underpins how we do education is really not as relevant, or becoming less relevant in this new world. So that's part of what we're exploring. Systems thinking is a lot about trying to unpack the paradigm, the thinking behind things, and trying to change that as a pathway for transformational innovation. And that's what we'll be doing throughout this series. So I'm not going to say too much. We'll be talking a lot more about this as we go along. We have a great interview. I'm not sure if it's next week or the week after with Pavel. He's going to talk a lot about this stuff. We'll give you links to that in a minute. But suffice to say, we have certain challenges in education, and they aren't superficial. Incremental change is certainly not going to get us to a new paradigm, one that's overcoming this growing mismatch. We've been talking about it now in society for some time, and it's quite well known. But it's really, that mismatch is unsustainable, and it is leading to a crisis as we go forwards. We do need to do actual systemic and transformational innovation here to change it. We know this reductionist mechanistic paradigm to how we think about education and teaching young people and people of all ages is no longer really relevant, or the kind of batch processing approach that we do. And that growing mismatch, right? So the principles that underpin this kind of system that we've been through, this kind of analytical reductionist approach where we really prioritize, individual intelligence, and students are placed like this as individuals, as kind of atomized elements within the system. And the whole assessment framework and many other aspects to it are really failing what we need. It teaches for conformity over diversity, for adherence to pre-specified rules over autonomy and self-directed learning, for memorization over creative thinking, for individual over collective collaborative learning, for passive reception of information over self-motivation, and for success of the importance of failure and resilience, and definitely around an overemphasis on analytical cognitive skills over emotional intelligence and social skills and so forth that we really need these days to survive and thrive in this new economy that's emerging. So not going to go too much into that. We've got some great speakers as we go along to really unpack all of that, but we do know a new world is emerging. It's kind of the world we live in here of innovation, of services, of a knowledge economy that really requires something different from us. And we believe this new paradigm that's relevant for that world really hinges around a more holistic and decentralized approach to education that's underpinned by a different paradigm, this systems thinking paradigm. It's more holistic, as I say, is it's including more aspects of both the person, more dimensions to their development, and a more inclusive and holistic approach to education, including both formal and informal education. So I'm just going to quickly move through because I think we're a bit short on time. These are some of the aspects that you'll see in that paper. It's kind of highlighting some of the features and maybe this next generation education system. Continuous learning needs to take place all along the life cycle. It's contextualized learning. We definitely have a decontextualized form of formal education. It's more informal, and it's more self-guided and self-directed. And these are actually principles that can really change the foundations of how we do education. So just to stay moving along, this is what we're going to be doing over the next 4 months or so. Taking the method that we have at Systems and Innovation and we've developed and have actually played with and tested in many different areas and apply it here in the context of education to ideate and think about what would this really look like if we went about doing that in the context of education, and then actually coming out of this, as one of my colleagues will share with you, try and think of what would a space, something like a lab, look like if we wanted to actually go and apply this in practice. So we're going to be exploring this over the 4 months, and by the end of it, we're going to come up with ideas around how we might put this into practice. So the first section there is around ideating, trying to change the paradigm, applying systems thinking to think about education from a systemic perspective and the challenge from a systemic perspective. To make sure we avoid incremental approaches to change and really think about how a change in the fundamental principles can really result in transformational change. The second section, it's going to be about 2 months now, will be around systems mapping out the different factors affecting our educational systems and the barriers to change, the challenge points, the leverage points, so on and so forth. The third section will be around ecosystem building. We think this ecosystem approach, as Pavel will talk about in 2 weeks, is really important to the next generation education system. How do we get the right actors together working together in the right way to start making these changes? And then finally, platform building or platform design. How do we create an infrastructure for supporting that new ecosystem in creating value, in learning how to work together and collaborate and scaling over time? So those are the different dimensions we're going to explore. Yasmin will say a bit more about the timing of when this is going to play out. So I'm going to leave it there for now, but great to have you starting on this journey with us.
Great. Thank you very much, Jos and Ben, for the introduction. And yes, as Jos mentioned, now I'm going to explain a bit more the structure of the events that we have prepared for you. So in each one of these modules that Jos just highlighted before, we're going to have 2 main events. One is going to be an interview with the professional that we want to bring together to share their expertise and their knowledge with you and with all of us. And the other event is going to be a workshop in each one of these modules highlighted. So in the next slide, we have all the dates organized here. So for the first month, the month of reframing the challenge, ideating the challenge, we're going to have Pavel with us on March 16th, an hour interview with him, where he's going to dive into his work in the educational system. And on March 30th, we're going to have a workshop on how to use systems thinking to really reframe the understanding of the challenge that we have at hand. The second month, mapping the challenge, we're going to bring a speaker there. We're still talking to them on April 13th, an hour interview as well. And afterwards, we're going to have a workshop on how important it is to map the system, in this case, the educational system that we have, right? And that's going to be April 27th. After that, we're going to exploring transition this month of May, let's say May and June. We're going to have as well an interview on May 18th, talking about how we can envision this transition and how we can bring actors together, diverse of actors together to create this space for the transition. And on June 1st, we're going to have a workshop on this topic as well. And finally, the, let's say, last month of this organization is going to be an interview with Linda Booth-Sweetney that is going to highlight the importance of building an ecosystem to bring all these ideas that we highlighted together in order to create a transition in the system, right? And the workshop for this month is going to be June 29th, an hour workshop as well, with these tools and ideas that we put together. So we have these 4 main months of events, activities, and workshops. And finally, on July, we're going to have a next steps and outcomes session, where we're going to bring to you some of the ideas that we have for the future. And that leads us to the next session, where we're going to highlight the outcomes that we want to see in this journey, right? So first of all, we want to share with you an overview of this journey during this process, and of course afterwards, that we want to share what we've covered during this 5-month period, and of course share with you the methods, the tools, and the ideas that we've put together to create this educational challenge that we're presenting during this period, right? And this method, as I mentioned, is the method that we use here at SI. These 4 modules that we interactively share with you, and that we work in this challenge, right? And how we can enable systems innovation in the educational system. What we aim as well is to let people know that we are open for collaborations, and we are open for ideas on how to take it a step forward and to make it more of a concrete lab, let's say. That's something that we're really thinking about, that we do need a space for people to talk, to share, and to discuss all these ideas and much more, right? And that's the idea of the lab that we want to create, to illustrate. It's a model to illustrate how we can bring it to life, to take a step forward from this challenge that we have today. So how can we actually make it concrete, right? And that leads us to the next slide, which basically we are going to create a pitch, right, for this lab, and the importance of bringing the systems innovation approach to the educational sector in the UK, right? Something else that we're going to do is to develop templates, so you can use these ideas, and you can use these tools in order to organize your own understanding of this challenge in your own way, right? And the infographics is a way to co-create a vision and to understand how this transition can be seen in a very simple and accessible way. So these are the 3 main ways that we're going to execute. And finally, on the next slide, just ways what we aim to, right? Help people explore opportunities for change, discuss key challenges, and think about leverage point, and of course, motivate action. So thank you very much. And I'll pass it to Erika to share some more information about the challenge. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yasmin. Hi, everyone. So we really hope you are excited as we are about this new initiative from the Systems Innovation London Hub. And we would absolutely love it if you can come aboard this journey with us. So just to summarize all that we've discussed so far, there are 3 main ways in which you can partner with us. So firstly, I would explain about the workshops, the 4 workshops that we will host, and there will be group activities that we have planned for you that will be interactive, it will generate interesting insights, and will also add positively to your professional development. Secondly, you also have the opportunity to share your expertise with others and the work that you're doing to innovate the education system. And also with that in mind, we also invite you to discuss the forward-thinking themes with like-minded individuals in these sessions. So on to the next slide as to why you should partner with us for this education challenge. So firstly, you will gain useful skills, knowledge, and techniques to approach your practice with a system innovation lens and seeing how your work interlinks with others who are also in the field. You will also gain a wealth of new connections with like-minded peers, and this will lead to knowledge exchange and valuable collaboration opportunities. And as explained by Yasmin, you will also have the opportunity to build and co-create a new education lab to take all that we will discuss in this journey and put it into action. So this is really an exciting initiative to really shake up the education system and work in a way that is more integrated, inspiring, and innovative. Thanks very much.
No worries. And then here you have a few of where you can like follow us on our socials as well. That could be across LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, but also on the Mighty Networks platform as well. I don't know if we were intending to share a link to this mural boards to get a capture of the feedback, but if we are, can we please share that in the chat? And for those that want to, can like navigate onto the board and then to the section where I am. So you should be able to see Ben Attle crumb up and just navigate to this feedback part. We'll give that a few seconds for people to trickle over, but feel free just to leave any feedback. For those that aren't aware of Miro, the sticky note feature should be like the second one down. So just grab one, choose any color and just place along this scale, essentially where you feel you locate. So the first one is, did you get a good understanding of the concepts today? So that would be around why potentially we're doing this. Why is systems innovation needed in the UK education system now? Was the format of this session helpful? So we tried to inform and to show ways in which you can get involved as a participant and a partner. Were we effective in doing that? And then finally, is there any ideas for how we can improve as well? That may be just like a comment in the chat feature. But yeah, if you aren't able to navigate over, that's completely fine. Please feel free to put anything into the chat as well. We'll spend about 1 minute here in case you are able to.
So Berenice is asking a question. How can we confirm participation to the challenge? So the challenge is a series of events that you'll find listed on the website. So it's then you can join which ones work for you. But there's no need to sign up for all of them. You can just join that first one and we'll keep you posted as we go along. Actually put on the next board the link to the first event with Pavel. I'll put the link in the chat also.
Fantastic. So we'll stay going for like 30 seconds on here. We have until 1/2 So if you do have any other like comments that you would like to add about the challenge as well, please do put them into the chat. This is the time to ask questions as well. So if there's anything top of your mind, not necessarily about the specifics of the challenge as well, just kind of like some thoughts or kind of provocations maybe that we can take away with us, please just leave your feedback or comment in the chat.
Just to follow up on what I was mentioning about the full series, we actually have information on our website. So if you go to our London hub, you will find an educational challenge here, and then you can see listed the information about the full series and the dates and so on. So you'll be able to find full info there. I'll give you the link for this.
And then Josh, where are we showing the recording again? Is the recording going to be on the YouTube, or are we showing on the SI platform as well, just for everyone's knowledge?
we can do both. It will be on our YouTube at that link soon, or you can find it. I'll just give you the hub channel. We'll post it there also. Yeah, either of those links.
Well, there's a question here. How important it is that is the London hub? Is it only or mostly relevant for the UK or open internationally?
Mhm.
Would you like to address that, Ben?
Yeah, happily. I think we're straddling these two like local and global themes quite nicely. Most of the context and framing will be towards the UK context that is quite particular, but then we will be dealing with themes that will be relevant across contexts as well. So a lot of education systems, they do kind of fall into similar patterns, but for our challenge, we will specifically be thinking about the UK education sector, but the speakers that we'll have will be from a range of different backgrounds as well. So there should be definitely some takeaways, not just for kind of UK-based practitioners, but also for people more broadly interested with education systems change. So hopefully that answers your question, Cohen.
Great, and I think that answers the comment here in the mirror board. For non-British people, maybe not so easy to fit in the objectives. Yeah, so we're going to bring speakers. They are going to talk about, you know, the overall an overview of the challenge as well. So it's not necessarily just in the context of UK. So everyone's welcome to join.
Fantastic. Thank you everyone for taking some time out your Thursday morning. Do address any of us here that have spoken with any questions. And we really want to bring you into this journey as well. So if you do have any ideas of how we can improve this, please just shoot us a message. We're trying to be as open as possible. That's one of the guiding principles for this info session as well, to kind of be very open with that. So chuck us a message. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and we'll pass the recording on to everyone very soon. Bye now for everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Take care. Bye.